I kind of like the old horror movie guys who, if they couldn't make something, they didn't show it.
Yeah.
So I think more directors need to use that. If you can't make it look good,
show
it less.
Yeah. Or even go practical.
Yeah, have a couple of actual standing skeletons.
Yeah. Talking about which, I'm trying to watch Godzilla Minus One.
Yeah.
They made that for $15 million.
Yeah.
And a movie like that, like a 2-hour movie for $15 million, it just blew everybody away. And not only that, people enjoyed it. So, because I was at dinner with, with my young nephew yesterday, my brother and sister, sister-in-law, sorry, my sister and my brother-in-law, and we're talking about Godzilla, and because we're talking about movies, and I said, like, watch Grave of the Fireflies to really understand Godzilla Minus One.
Yeah.
Watch Grave of the Fireflies, which is an animated movie by Studio Ghibli.
I think so.
Yeah.
It's one of their old ones.
Yeah.
Well, are you talking about because the Japanese have a history with the bomb?
No, not. But it's about children. It's like it's about, like, in a sense, like understanding that time period. Yeah. If you just go and go, oh, okay, well, we're just watching those people getting, I thought they were our enemy and stuff. But if you go in and watch Grave of Fireflies, and it's about a young boy and his little sister struggling to survive during World War II, and you really think about, because that's where Godzilla Minus One starts at, right at the end of friggin' World War II, and you wonder why that situation is like it is, and then you watch this beforehand, because I recommend watching this before you watch that, because you get a bit more understanding, because everybody likes to make the other person the enemy, and this one sort of like looks at the whole idea from a child's point of view. What are the children happening? Because there's always in any war, there's a majority of orphans, and it's the children that are left on the side, no parents and stuff. And one of the things about Godzilla Minus One, very early on, you learn about that very quickly.
Yeah.
And if you watch this, it'll make your impact on watching that a bit more wiser than just becoming just another monster movie. You just were going in watching it. And that's why I think why it did well, because people who understood that time period and what was happening just with the bombs and stuff like that, the nuclear, it just drives home that whole idea of, like, there's an emperor who thinks he's God, and you should die for God.
Yeah. And
that was the basis of why there was kamikazes. And Godzilla Minus One deals with kamikaze pilot. Basically, you just believe, you're supposed to sacrifice your life no matter what. You're not even supposed to survive. You're supposed to go in, dive bomb, and know that you're going to die. There's no way out. And I think that's what kind of like, if you watch this, you'll realize why. Because you're told that they're the enemy. This is basically what he was saying. They're your enemy. They're the monsters. They'll eat you. You'll be cannibalized. And those children are scared as hell, running away from all this because they think they're going to be eaten if they get caught.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think it goes hand in hand for me, I reckon, in my honest opinion, for the Grave of Fireflies than Godzilla Minus One.
Okay, so you're talking about the psychology.
Yeah, because there's a lot of things in Godzilla about psychology.
They said in the Vietnam War, they would play extremely racist stuff to the troops.
Yeah.
And they're like, why would you do that? And it's like, well, you want them to actually think of the enemy as less than human.
Yeah.
So you actually make them racist on purpose. You make them think that they are better than the Vietnamese, and they don't matter, and their kids don't matter, and their family doesn't matter, and you make them think that they're animals.
Yeah.
Because you're less likely to kill your neighbor if you get along with them.
Right. Yeah, you'd go to help them rather than
if you think someone's
against them.
An evil, inferior, there's a lot of mind stuff. But the other thing is with the Japanese too is they've got a weird relationship with nuclear weapons, and because they were bombed, the only country to have a bomb dropped on them.
Yeah.
And then they make movies about radioactive monsters to entertain children.
Yeah.
And social commentary at the same time. But they also have it in Akira and other stuff. There's a lot of things about nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
And and they also were one of the first countries, I think, that had nuclear power plants. Which you think if New Zealand got hit by a bomb, we wouldn't build a nuclear power plant.
It'd probably be like something to do with the culture itself, and what they have, this whole Bushido thing. I haven't looked into that. I'm looking to look into that a bit more. Of like, you know how in Maori they have like mana, right?
Yeah.
And you got to have it, and that's kind of like the Bushido way that they have it, like harikari and stuff like that, and like, well, who would, you know, for honor, you know, have your head chopped off and stuff like that. So it's a very cultural thing. But I remember watching this way back in about 2000 when I was doing my films course, and really thinking about, like, I never saw the children's point of view, which is something I'm looking at when I'm writing now. I'm looking at how do I kind of write in a way that there's an emotional connection between the reader to the work, you know, because I think that's what a lot of modern cinema is missing out, is a connection to the reader to the work itself.